Hey guys, it's Jeff Byers. I'm your instructor for this course, ANI 235 Character Modeling and Rigging Module 6. I'm hoping you are all staying healthy and safe. In this module, Module 6, we will be UV mapping and texturing your new character outfit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Module 6. Alright, so I was hoping to have my Desert Warrior textured. I've got the base completely textured and everything UV mapped. So hopefully tonight I can go ahead and knock that out. In the next couple days I'll update this and you guys can check it out when I get it all finished. Again, overview, you've seen this before in Module 5. But we are continuing. You should have everything modeled. And so the objectives this week is to UV map all the outfit pieces that you have and lay them out as UVs. Now you don't have to use UDIMs. I'm not forcing you to, but if you do use UDIMs, that you stick with a strict 2048 by 2048 because we've had some issues with computers not being able to handle this that much texture map size, because you basically got to take that map size and times it by how many texture tiles that you have. Even though it's very efficient, it uses a lot more RAM than just using single texture maps. So if you don't have much RAM, you want to go fewer texture sets and less resolution. If you don't want to do this, then I would just do, I think we ended up in class saying that we could do like up to 6 4096 texture maps without causing too much trouble. That was at school though, so you might want to cut that down depending on how much RAM you have at home. I'm guessing most of you guys have 8 gigs of RAM, so I'm thinking you could probably do 4 or 5 at the most. But you can still use Substance Painter even if you don't use UDIMs. UDIMs are just really nice because you don't have to use ID maps. So it's just easier. Alright, so with that in mind, again, if you use UDIMs, keep them low resolution or lower resolution. Okay, you also have a choice with hair. So you either can do hair, model the hair, okay, using the card technique. I don't want you using XGen. I don't want you guys getting into that is a tunnel or endless hole that you can dive into, even though it's a lot of fun. And it's fun to create with XGen and use XGen because I've used it before. You can have amazing results, but you basically have to be an expert to get those amazing results. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And we just don't have, with 1 week left, we don't have enough time. So if you want to do that down the road and if you have questions for me, I'll be happy to send you some great tutorials. Just email me this summer if you want to go and check it out and add more realistic hair to this character. I would be happy to send you the videos, and believe me, they're very intensive and could take you 2 or 3 days to get through them. But feel free to do that. So you have a choice. So if you don't want to do hair cards, that's fine. You cannot leave the character's head bald. So you have to figure out what you're going to put on there. Are you going to have a headpiece, headgear, helmet? Anything would work as long as it fits the style and genre of your character outfit. So if you got an outfit and you do something crazy and weird with the hairpiece and it doesn't really fit, I'll probably mark off points for that just to slap something on there. I want you to really think about it. But I do not want a bald head. Okay? Alright, so go ahead and continue. I don't care which one you do first. If you do a headpiece, make sure it fits the character. And you need to start UV mapping immediately. Don't wait until the end of the week to start UV mapping. You guys, it takes a long time to get UV mapping done. You probably do it in a couple days, 3 days. But then you got a texture. This is a big one. You're UV mapping and you're texturing everything. Okay? So keep in mind, Start right away. Get as much done as you possibly can. Act like it's due in 3 days, and you're going to get a lot of stuff done. Okay? Put this as priority. You're going to thank me for that because we only have a week left, and we got to use that for rigging and all that stuff. Getting it posed, getting the new character posed, and on a new base. Okay? So basically that's it in a nutshell. I do have some really great tutorials. This is an amazing tutorial where basically this artist, what they did was they used XGen to pull the texture onto the card. It's card based. A lot of cards were used in this one, but it looks really fantastic. Okay, so it's a really great example of what you can do. Now he didn't use XGen, meaning he used XGen to get the hair strands to pull the texture. You don't need to do that. You don't have to go through all that trouble. But that's what he did. I wanted to let you know that's what that person did. Now this one just used haired cards, and they found textures. They could either scan their own hair, if you have, or take pictures of your own hair. And with this particular situation, it was fairly easy. They went ahead and you build the haired card straight up and down, add the texture to it, and then put the hair card on the head with it pointing straight up, and then you basically sculpt it or finagle it or move vertices or whatever you want to do. I personally would use the soft select tool and basically bend it over. You could use deformers too to bend it over. Whatever you want to do to style the hair, I don't care. Doesn't matter. So I've got hair textures here for you. I went ahead and gave you some of the textures that I've used in the past, and they're all set and ready to go. There's also hair textures from this particular tutorial. I wouldn't say it's a tutorial, but somehow I don't know where I found them, but I went ahead and found them. And you can feel free to use those as well. And we've got basically step by step. The only part that is missing is how do you apply the materials. I've already gone through that, and I've got tutorials later in this video telling you how to add these texture maps. I think the only one I may not have hit was the fact when you're adding the AI standard material surface, the AI standard surface right here, is that you will go under geometry. So when you get into taking the transparency map, you'll go into geometry and you'll go over into the opacity, I think it's the opacity channel, and apply your transparency map there. Okay, and then your normal map goes into the bump channel. Okay, and it's basically you can he's using soft select to take it and moving the hair over. So basically, again, you have to have the hair card going up and down, right? And then you add the texture to it, UV map it, texture it, and apply the textures to it. And then you style it. And basically this is what it's going to look like. Now, you went a step further like I did with my character up here, is that it's hard to see, but I've got this little crown. It's called a crown. It looks like a crown underneath the hair. What that does is that's a blend between your scalp and your hair, and you need that if you're, like, especially with her, you need to have that blend right here. Okay, and he used that, the crown or the cap, to show the shorter hair, the shorter hair here, and apply the texture to that. All right. So that's the end result. Looks really great. I mean, it looks really good for just probably 3 or 4 hours of work. If you have all the texturing ready to go, just 3 or 4 hours of work. Placing the cards. That's all. That's the hard part, is just placing the cards and getting the hairstyle that you want. That's the hard part. I talk about UDEMs. I think we all know what UDEMs are, and some of us have tried it, and some of us hate it, some of us love it. I personally love it, and I really like it. So I went through the tutorial again of unwrapping. If some of you need to see some of that to get some ideas how I sewed UVs together and took you through the whole process of laying out your UDEMs. And then the texturing process, if you just want to skip the UDEMs and you want to go right to texturing, I have the texturing in here. And also how to apply it in Maya. So that's the part I think that you should watch. If you got everything else fine, then you watch the last one, and that'll get you all set up. The only part in there that I don't think's in there is where I put in the normal map, where you put the normal map, you'll have an opacity map that you want to put the transparency just above it. Okay, so that's where that goes. Right, we talked about the assignment, easy peasy, grading, just look at that very carefully. I will grade you if your character is bald. I will grade off on that, so don't leave her bald or him bald or whatever you guys ended up doing. Or they. Doesn't matter. Deliverables. So make sure you read that really carefully. If you have questions, let me know. If I made a mistake, let me know. Most of you do let me know right away if I make a mistake, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. So there's a lot of stuff to do. I got 4 other classes I'm doing online, so don't hesitate to email me if you have questions about anything. Most of you know I get back pretty quickly now that I'm at home and I've got everything set up at home. So let me know if you have any questions. Shoot me an email if you have problems or issues. I'll try to get back to you within an hour or 2 hour period, and even sooner, depending on where I'm at. All right, you guys have a great day, and from what I can see, I'll grade your stuff as soon as I can on Monday, module 5, and try to get you your grades right away and let you know what I think. And you guys have a great week this week, and I'll see you next week.